The child who could not hear a single sound in this room began spelling numbers with her hands. Slow, deliberate. Nobody had asked her anything. On the console behind her, 12 seconds of a signal had just finished playing. A signal no human being was supposed to understand. And her small fingers kept counting, shaping digits in the air like she was reading them off a page only she could see. Dr. Maravini stopped breathing. She was the lab's linguist, brought in because she signed fluently. Her own brother was deaf. She recognized the hand shapes instantly. Not random, not comfort stimming. The girl was fingerspelling a precise string of numbers, pausing between clusters like someone dictating a code. And the engineers, who a moment ago were joking, went silent all at once. You have to understand what this room was for. For over 60 years, since the very first radio dish tilted toward the stars in 1960, humanity had listened. Millions of hours, every promising blip chased down and explained away. In all that time, not one confirmed voice from anywhere else. The sky had been, by every honest measurement, completely empty, except once. One August night in 1977, a telescope in Ohio caught 72 seconds of a narrowband burst near the hydrogen line. Strong, clean, impossible to explain. A scientist circled it in red pen and wrote a single word beside it. Wow. It never came back. Never repeated. For decades, it haunted everyone in this field like a knock at a door that opened onto nothing. This lab had its own ghost. 3 weeks ago, one of their dishes recorded a fragment, 12 seconds, riding that same hydrogen frequency the old hunters always watched. They'd run it through every decoder they owned. Nothing. No language, no image, no math anyone could crack. Just structure without meaning. A locked box with no key. The girl's name was Ivy, 8 years old, profoundly deaf since birth. She was in the building because it was family day. Mara had brought her brother's daughter to see where Auntie worked. Ivy had wandered to the playback console while the adults talked and pressed the key that looped the fragment through the floor speakers into the vibration of the desk beneath her palms. And here's the part that is not fiction. A deaf brain does not sit in silence. It reorganizes. The region meant for hearing rewires itself to feel. Vibration through bone, rhythm through the skin, pattern through the eyes. Ivy did not hear the signal. She felt its shape. Along a channel every hearing person in that room filtered out without knowing. Mara grabbed a pad. She copied every digit as Ivy signed it, hands shaking. Because a signal carries no meaning on its own. Meaning needs an agreed code. But numbers are different. Numbers are just counting. You don't need a shared language to count. And whatever this transmission was, it was speaking the one thing that crosses every barrier: quantity. The string resolved into 2 clusters. Mara stared at them. They had the shape of coordinates, a position. Right ascension and declination, maybe, the way you'd pin a point on the sky. Her first thought was obvious and thrilling. The signal was telling them where it came from. It was giving them a return address across the dark. She read the numbers aloud to Okonkwo, the mission astronomer. He typed them in, expecting a distant star, a nebula, some point light years out where a civilization might be waving back. He hit enter. Then he frowned, typed it again. His face did something Mara had never seen an astronomer's face do. It emptied. "It's not sky coordinates," he said quietly. "The format's wrong. These aren't up there." He turned to the screen. The numbers weren't a point among the stars. They were a point on the ground. A latitude. A longitude. A place on this planet precise to a few meters. The map kept zooming. Continent. Country. A stretch of desert. A cluster of low buildings behind a fence. Then one structure and one room inside it. The pin settled, blinking, directly over the coordinates of the very lab they were standing in. Over this room. Over the console where an 8-year-old sat, still moving her hands. The temperature of the room seemed to drop. A signal from space has no address written inside it. Space has no address. You infer where a message came from by where your dish was pointing. So, coordinates hidden in the message itself meant only one thing. Someone had put them there. On purpose, and they weren't pointing outward, they were pointing here. Mara asked the question none of them wanted to say. If the signal came from the sky, why did it carry the address of the ground it landed on? Was something out there answering? Telling them, "We see exactly where you are"? Or Had the signal never really come from out there at all? Okonkwo pulled the antenna logs, hands unsteady. He wanted to prove the dish had been aimed at deep space when the fragment arrived. A clean, cosmic origin. He found the timestamp. He found the pointing data. And the dish, at that exact moment, had not been aimed at the sky. It had been parked, facing down, toward the earth. Toward the building. Nobody spoke. Then Ivy's hands went still. She looked up, tilted her head, and reached for the console again, for the key that would loop the 12 seconds a second time. Mara lunged and caught her small wrist, gently, a half-inch from the key. She didn't fully know why she stopped her. She only knew, in her gut, that it should not be played twice. Mara knelt to eye level and signed, carefully, "What are the numbers?" Ivy considered her the way children consider a foolish question. Then she signed back. Not a word, but a picture in the air. A circle. A dot inside it. And she pointed the dot down, at the floor, at the ground beneath their feet. "Here," she was saying. "It means here." That was when the real fear arrived. Not fear of aliens. Fear of what a message can do. 12 seconds had entered a mind that never heard a sound, bypassed every conscious defense, and written a location into it, precise to a few meters, that the child had no way of knowing. The signal hadn't been decoded by their machines. It had been decoded by a person, whether she wanted it or not. Now, the honest part, spoken plainly. No real intercepted signal has ever been decoded as an alien message. Not the wow burst, not anything since. The idea that 12 seconds could implant coordinates into a listener lives entirely in the imagination. In the gap between that circled printout in 1977 and everything we've been afraid to picture filling it. But stand in that room for a moment. A child who cannot hear, feeling a rhythm the rest of us are built to ignore, reproducing it the only way she has, with her hands. And what she reproduces is not hello, not a picture of a star. It's an address. And the address is you. They sealed the fragment that night, encrypted it, split the key, and agreed, quietly, without a vote, never to play it in a room with a person again. Mara took Ivy home. The girl fell asleep in the car, hands loose in her lap. But somewhere between highway lights, half dreaming, her fingers twitched, and they spelled the same two numbers again. So here's what lingers, long after the screen goes dark. If a signal can write a place into a mind that never heard it, what else could it write in the ones that can? We spent 60 years asking whether anyone is out there. Maybe the harder question was always the other one. Not whether they can reach us, but whether, when they finally do, we'll even notice which of us is listening. 12 seconds, two numbers, a pair of small hands that knew the way home before anyone told them. If those 12 seconds ever reached you, if you felt the rhythm move through the floor and your fingers began, all on their own, to spell, what do you think you would sign? And would you dare to look down at where it pointed?